There is no one size fits all when it comes to somebody's health. There's not one way to support or treat a patient or a client. There are so many things to take into consideration. So a lot of times as a practitioner, I get asked this question as an acupuncturist, as an essential oil expert and educator, holistic health coach. I will get questions like just this morning, somebody asked me, "Hey, I have a friend who has fibromyalgia. What would you give her?" Like, there is just so much to consider when working with patients, regardless if it's a significant autoimmune condition or a acute situation. You have to take into consideration so many things. For instance, you have to take into consideration their constitution. What is their lifestyle like? What is their diet like? What is their digestion like? What are their poops like? Yeah, you gotta ask about poop. Are they pooping on a regular basis? You have to consider their nutrition intake, their exercise, their inflammation. Do they have pain? What kind of pain is it? Are they experiencing a dull ache? Are they experiencing throbbing, piercing, burning? Like, all of those things give us so much information when coming up with protocols. Specifically, I teach people how to use essential oils on acupuncture points. And so there's not just one thing to consider. With female patients, you have to ask about their menstrual cycle. You have to ask about if they're getting headaches, where they're getting headaches. Is it the top of the head? Is it the side of the head? Is it the front of the head? Is it more facial? Are they having tension in their neck and their back or their low back? Do they have low back and knee pain? Do they have issues with urination? Do they have issues and not just urination, is it frequent? Is it scant? Like, you have to ask all of these different questions. What is it how is their heart? Do they have palpitations? Do they have any high blood pressure? Does your patient or client or somebody you're working with, do they have, let's see, what else do I want to ask them? I go through all the symptoms. How is their immune system? Do they get frequent colds and flus? Do they cough? Is it a wet cough? Is it a dry cough? Is it a lingering cough? There's so many things to consider. Again, with the digestion, do they have heartburn? Do they react to certain foods? There's so many things to consider, right? You have to go through all the different systems. Another really important thing you have to consider is their emotional state. Now, moods are fleeting, right? Like, something happens and we get mad. Something happens and we get sad. But a lot of times those emotional responses are fleeting. So you have to think about like how you address them on a more superficial level. But what is their innate way of being? Like, what is it? Are they having feelings of depression? Are they angry? Do they have a deep anger or resentment? Do they get anxious easily? Oh, another really important thing to ask about is their sleep. And not just like, do they have insomnia? Do they sleep well? How frequently do they wake? Do they have trouble falling asleep or do they wake up at certain times? You have to think about the Chinese clock and what organ systems might be involved. I recommend looking at people's tongues. Like, these are all of the things that I teach inside AcuOil Alchemy. It has helped hundreds and hundreds of people, practitioners and essential oil educators, how to refine protocols and to support the person, their client, their patient, their friend, their loved ones on how to use specific oils on specific acupuncture points. So I try to really educate my students to not ask me the question, I have this, what oil should I take? Or I have this, what oil and point should I use? I need to know so much more. I always feel like a deer in the headlight, like, I need to know more. I need to know more. So get all your questions answered so that you can really, even where they live, even the season they're in, like, oh my gosh, there's so many things that I try to educate and teach inside AcuOil Alchemy to help, and even essential oil energetics to help understand the different layers of chi, the more superficial layers, which organs are involved, which oils have an affinity for that more superficial layers, like whether it's superficial like emotion or mood, or if it's like which organs are more superficial, which are more in that middle phase, and which are the deeper in the type of chi that it impacts the organ systems. So this is all great information. It's really going to take your essential oil protocols to the next level. So I'm going to drop the links below, and know that I have an entire module that's just about understanding how to do a proper intake, to ask the right questions and formulate the protocol based on those questions. Like I mean, it's like you become a little Sherlock Holmes detective, really, and it's fun. That's like the most fun part of Chinese medicine to me, is that there's no cookie cutter, and you don't treat every single patient the same way, because nobody is the same. Everybody is unique, and so you got to treat them that way. Okay. Hope this is helpful. Hope this enlightens you a little bit more and helps you to ask the right questions. So, if you want to learn more, I'm dropping those links below. So, I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this channel, please share it with your essential oil loving friends, practitioners, anybody in the wellness space who you think this might support, and definitely subscribe. All right. Thanks.